Hello and welcome to the Crafty Little Rat podcast. My name is Hannah, also known as Crafty Little Rat on Ravelry and Instagram, and I will at some point try and work on getting a group set up. Hello to anybody who has bothered to come back, and welcome to any new viewers as well that we have. It's really nice to see you here. We're normally on a 2-weekly schedule, so fortnightly I normally record. I was supposed to record last week, but I was out for the day, so I couldn't. And then by the time I get home at night time, it's too dark and all of that sort of stuff. So trying out something a little bit new today, because I've had a comment from somebody that I'm a little bit quiet. I'm not sure whether that's because I use my laptop to record and the internal microphone is it's quite a way away from me because it's with the webcam. So I bought a little cheapy recording cable mic thing from eBay, so we'll see how that goes. I've tried to push the volume up as high as I can on my recording software as well, so we'll give it a go. Because I haven't recorded for 3 weeks, I've got a lot to show you, so I suppose we'd better just really sort of get into it really. So the first thing I'm going to show you is my you're still working on that, which is my works in progress. Oops, I apologise, I've got a lot of things surrounding me, behind me, as you can see. Well, I thought I'd cleared it out of the way. You can see my Christmas wrapping paper, but never mind. So the first thing I've been working on is my Zoom loom squares. I have a Zoom loom, which is a miniature weaving loom by Shacked. I think it's Shacked. Yeah. Anyway, but it creates little tiny squares. So this one is I made some socks out of this. Mexico colour, I think I want to say. This one is out of a very old purpley pair of socks, but it's just a little 4-inch tabby woven square. So they're really, really quick. They take about 20 minutes to do all in all. So I've been sort of whipping through some of the old balls of stash. That again is the Mexico colour one. As you can see, and again a third one. I pick those 3 back out. You know, all 3 of these were done with exactly the same yarn, but they do have a different look depending on where the colours hit in the weaving, so I find it really sort of interesting. These are all sort of odds and ends of 4-ply. That's an Easy Knit Twinkle. Nope, colourway's gone. Colourway's gone from my head. I knit a pair of entrelac socks out of this. And again, there's some in here that I can't actually remember, but it is majoritively all sock yarn squares. Again, Easy Knits, 2 from the Easy Knits. I've been working through, I used to do sort of try and, say this while I'm showing you them. I used to try and do 1 from each ball, but that's just, I'm trying to just get them done at the moment. That's the colour's a bit wrong on that. It's more of a teal blue, showing up as a royal blue. Same square again, and then again that's blowing that out. That's more of a coral pink, and the yellow and the blue, those are all cotton, whereas the rest are majoritively sock, so wool and nylon. And then this one is wool and nylon as well. So yeah, there is, I did count them before I recorded, but I've forgotten now, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 squares. 16 squares I've done since we last spoke. It's a very long-term project, this one. It's they're all going to eventually go into a blanket. I have got a pile of squares. I think I've hit 56 possibly. I'd like to make it to 100 before the end of the year, but I'm not entirely sure whether I will or not. And then I did think about doing it as one of these Project 365s, you know, where you do a square a day for an entire year. But I'm not entirely sure whether I still fancy the idea of that or not. We'll see. I've still got, you know, a bit to go before 2016 starts, and I have to make any sort of decisions on that. So the next project I'm going to show you guys is in my lovely Elizabeth bag. And I will link again. I linked to her blog, to her Etsy store in last week's show notes, if you want to go back and double check it out. But I started a new pattern this week because I needed something nice and easy for knitting in the car and knitting in work. So I started the Knotty Gloves by Julia Laris. It's got Julia Laris in brackets. They don't show up very well because I printed them off in black and white. But it's gloves with a cable design just on the wrist. So it's a free pattern on Ravelry, and it's work for so long in rib, so it should be relatively easy to start off with. I thought it said 6 inches in rib. It says 6 centimeters. I'm very glad. I don't think I'm above 6 centimeters, but I'm quite glad I actually saw that before I started, before I got much further on. Maybe like an inch, which is 2.5 centimeters. It's a little bit tangly, the wool, I'm afraid, because I'm stupidly knitting from the outside. But I've just started the 2x2 rib and gone from a tiny bit of yellow on the edges through to the red and the orange. This is the yarn I'm using, which is really, it's not quite so vivid as that. That's blown it out a little bit on the camera. But it is Lang. It's the Lang I bought last time. Lang Yoel Magic Degrade, and the colourway is actually 6477, which is autumn. I don't know what I told you last week, but it didn't match up to what it actually was. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. They're just easy enough to do in the car. I've got the cable pattern. It isn't horrendously complicated. It's only 41 rows, so when I'm past that, I can change back to just knitting it in the car on my own. Yeah, because it's just 6 centimeters, but that looks a lot longer. But never mind. Maybe I'm just a lot of the knitting patterns, especially the American ones, tend to work more in inches than in centimeters. So sometimes it throws me off a little bit. But anyway, yeah, so it's a very, very new sort of a start, but it is a little bit of a start. And I like the way that the orange matches with the orange, and I've just bought myself a new winter coat that is orange. It's a Real? No. I want to say Regia, but that's the sock yarn. It's the big hiking, walking company one that also begins with an R. Regatta, that's the one. And that's also orange, so I was very orangey last week, which I did put up on Instagram. So that's that. I bought myself a new cup the other day, which has got it's just a jam jar with a lid and a straw. I've been looking for one for ages, and it actually holds a surprising amount of liquid. I've got just some squash in here. Because, talking and blathering on is thirsty work. So my last thing, I'm down to 2 real knitting works in progress and 1 of this Zoom loom, which is never ending. So my last piece that I've got to show you today is Kirsty's shawl. Again, being kept in my Alyssa B bag. I think it's Knit Quilt Spin, I want to say is her blog, but for some reason I'm not entirely sure if I've got the cards with me still. Ooh, that feels like a card in the bottom. It is Knit Spin Quilt. But again, I put a link to her stuff in last time's show notes. So that's that. So it's grown considerably since you guys last saw it. I've not long started the body, and I've now finished the body, and this is the edging yarn. So I've not got the hugest of things to sit on here, and I've got all my stuff piled on it, and I'm not the smallest of people, so it doesn't really work particularly well. But anyway, so this is the body of the shawl. It's a triangular shawl. So I just increased on the right side rows at the edges, either side of the central spine stitch, and then at the other edge, just on the needles. There is a small row of yarn overs but I don't know how well you can see that. So I finished the body. I then did my maths. Well, I ran out of yarn. I had just enough left to nearly make this square. I had to use a little bit of contrasting for the last 2 rows. I'm hoping my hair isn't interfering with my microphone. It says we'll play this back and I'll have to re-record another day, I guarantee. Probably not, because I'm a bit lazy. But yeah, but then I did my maths and I realised I could get 3 exact repeats of the pattern, but that would leave me with no spare stitches to sort of anchor down the edge. I would go straight into the pattern, and I didn't really want that. So in my stash I found some red, which is showing up as a real contrast here. It's not in real life, not at all. The red is some Drops Fable that I bought, possibly a Wool Warehouse sale. Ooh, Jesus. This is the only problem. This thing is now connected with a cable, so I've managed to get the cable caught up underneath my leg. There we go, and in my knitting. What a surprise. You know, I am elegant and graceful. Totally elegant and graceful. Anyway, back to the knitting content. Cordless ones, though, are a heck of a lot more expensive. This was like £3. The cordless ones are like 25, 30, and I didn't know how much I really sort of wanted to invest. I mean, you know, if I do that, that goes to the side of me, which isn't the side I'm showing things yet, but we'll see. So I just added on another couple of rows in that contrasting red. So now I'm showing you the back side. I just added on another couple of rows in that contrasting red, just to give me a bit of space to anchor in these edge stitches. Well, to do a couple of rows of garter stitch before I had to start doing the cable chart, which I've done. I've started. It's going to curl a little bit because it's a lot of stocking stitch. There are 4 stitches of garter which are anchoring it, and which will be fine when it's washed and blocked. I'm not entirely sure how well you can see the cables, but the cables are scientific symbols. There is dopamine, there is a beta endorphin and serotonin. I didn't have too much space between them. They look like they run into each other a bit on here, but they don't actually in real life. There are a few sort of rows spare in between them. So yeah, but it'll look a lot better when it's had a bit of a bath and had a bit of a block. So I've done 1 full repeat of the charts. The charts, this is a completely made up pattern. There is no pattern for this. There never will be a pattern for this. I'm sorry if you want to knit yourself a happy scarf. Because the charts are a little bit sort of wonky. So not entirely sure how well that's going to show up. It's 1. It's 2. That could even be the wrong way around. No, that's the right way around. And then that one is the right way around for that one. I've not been working off these. I've been working off them on my computer, as I tend to do when I'm home. I use Windows 10, so I've got this sort of the snap function, so I can sort of have whatever I'm watching in half the screen and my chart in the other half, and I find that works really well for me. Oops. Bye bobbin. There it is. So I want to show you that later. So yeah, the yarns are I've already said about the Fable, which is the red, the tiny bit of the red edging. The main body is Den of Yarniquity in the red, yellow, pink stripe colourway, which is really nice. It's a superwash merino and nylon mix, and it would make some gorgeous socks. It's really, really soft. I haven't sort of had haven't worked with a very soft yarn like this for a while, and I will definitely be it'll definitely be one I'll look to order again. It was a new Etsy seller for me. She's been trading for years. Her stuff is all up on the Ravelry database really, really well. But yeah, the yellow is Crelido Anchor, which was one that I'd bought at Aldi at some point a couple of years ago now, it must be. And it's really nice. It wears quite well. This isn't going to be machine wash. It's going to be hand washed. Tell Kirsty how to hand wash it. She's good with knitwear, so it's fine by me. And I really like it. I like the red as well with the Fable, because it does just give a solid colour for the, because you always do get when you do the knit two together at the end. See, I've got a little bit of a sort of a line. It looks like a blanket stitch to me in sewing, so I don't mind it. I quite like it, actually. But I wanted that to be a solid colour rather than a multicolour. So, yeah, hopefully next time I'll have a finished object to show you with this one. I've got I've done 1 repeat. I've got another 2 repeats to do to get down to the centre, and then I've got 3 repeats on the other side. So, yeah, but hopefully that's it now. This is focus totally on this for a while, in the evenings anyway. Not cast on anything new. So, next section is Finished Object Frenzy. I have loads to show you for this, actually. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different things that I finished since last time I recorded. 5 things in 3 weeks. It's insane. So I'll try and find the first thing. Because I'm trying to keep, last time I had my show notes in a slightly different order to my actual podcasting. So I went back when I typed the show notes up and put them up online, and I apologise for the lighting today. The weather is a bit awful. Yesterday was completely rainy, so I didn't record at all. Today it's a bit better, but it's still fading in and out. But yeah, so I went back into the when I published the show notes on the blog. I went back through and I tried to find which order I watched. Yeah, no, I talked about that, then that, then that, then that. So I'm trying to do it from my show notes, and then it's just a case of typing up rather than having to rewatch the entire podcast. So my first finished object is a hat. It is, you can see by the garter stitch panel, it's the ubiquitous barley hat that everybody does. It is a 3 pattern by Tin Can Knits. This one is a bit big for me, as you can probably tell. Tuck it up a bit. It is for Reese's stepdad for his birthday, which is at the end of the month. He walks the dog, so I figured a warm hat would be nice. It's a sort of barley, I suppose, because I did a very long brim, and I did the brim in 2x2 rib rather than 1x1 rib like the pattern says. And then when it finally got to time to do the garter section, I was on the way to paintballing. I went paintballing. I'll maybe talk about it at the end. So yeah, and I didn't know how many stitches, so sort of 30. So I did 30 stitches, and then I did the decreases slightly differently. Still works. It's a hat. It fits my other half a lot better than it fits me. So it should fit his stepdad, really, really well, and keep his head hopefully nice and warm while he's out with the dog. The yarn is Kirkton House Craft Aran, which is one from either Oldie or Little Again. That I bought a couple of years ago. It comes in big 400-gram skeins, so I used... it comes in big 400-gram skeins, but there's no yardage on the thing. That annoys me. So when I finished, I had a little bit left. I wound off a 100-something gram ball, 112-gram ball. And then I weighed out 110 grams. I wound off the 110 grams. When I finished, I wound off 10 grams from the little bit I had left, and then I used that on my niddy noddy and then sort of extrapolated up. It's probably not incredibly accurate because 10 grams obviously isn't a lot, but yeah, better than nothing. So I used... No, I haven't put down what I used. It was just over 100 grams, I think, for the hat. So yeah, so it worked well, but hopefully I've managed to update the pattern page with the actual yardage. The yarn page with the actual yardage, because I've still got a ball, well, 1 ball and 300 grams left of this, so it will at some point become a jumper for Reese. It's quite nice for, an acrylic. There's at least 20% wool in there, but it should survive Reese's mother washing everything at 60. The environment, woman. Think of the environment, as well as destroying all of my hand knits. But anyway... See, I keep doing that. I keep trying to tack it behind the other side so that it's away from the microphone and going the wrong way. Because left is right and right is left on the camera. Welcome to the professionalism of that goes into this show. Never mind. So the next big thing I've got to show you is buried at the bottom of the pile. Ta-da! It is Annalise's blanket. Now I am going to have to be careful I don't get caught up in this one. So it is a bit wide that I can't show you here, but I've covered the microphone there. It's a nice sort of a size. That is the width of it, and then if I fold it in half and keep going, up and 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 up. That's the length of it. So it's a bit smaller than a single bed sized, but it should be really good. It's a good size for a toddler, and she'll be turning 1 this birthday. So, you know, it's a great size for her. The colours are, the yarn is DMC Natura cotton, and the colours are the pink is, which is showing as a red, but it's not, it's a coral, because it's called coral, 18 coral. The yellow is 16 tournesol, the grey sable. The grey is sable, number 3. The burgundy is 34 bourgogne, and the blue is 25 aquamarina. I used nearly 3 balls. I could have possibly got 1 more stripe repeat out of them, but then I would have had more ends to weave in, because it was bits of 3 balls that were left over, so I would have had at least 6 ends in each stripe, and I was I was done by then. You know, I was done by sort of halfway through blankets. I normally am, but I was worried about sort of the structural integrity of the blanket more than the actual you know, weaving in the ends. And I was slightly worried that I wouldn't have enough to make it, but that's fine. I've been putting a square into my Zoom-Loom blanket for each colour. You know, and it's a nice memory then, because my Zoom-Loom blanket will probably last longer than the actual blanket, because blanket being used by small children. So that's ready to go, and that's ready to be wrapped up. I bought, which I can see, but I can't show you. I bought some really cute unicorn wrapping paper. And it's got pink and it's got unicorns on it the other day, so I thought, oh, I'll do that. There's something else I bought that I forgot to bring over, but I'll show you guys next time. Hopefully I'll have had a bit of a chance to use it by then. So yeah, blanket, done, 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 done. 3mm hook, and the pattern is Attic 24's Easy Ripple Blanket, which is a brilliant one for anybody who's a beginner. So much love. We'll do the pattern again, possibly not with the cotton. I love it. I wanted to match the blanket to her little brother's blanket, which was also in the Natura, just simply cotton, just cotton. No, Natura cotton. I'm getting sort of in between being a bit warm and being a bit sort of cool, so I'll try clipping that on there, and then I can always de-jack it. This is just one from Peacocks a couple of years ago. I really like it though. It's a fantastic sort of a house jacket, and it's got sort of the Fair Isle patterning on it. Covering up the microphone again, but yeah, I am hot, so we'll derobe. Oops, be careful, not put anything down. So yeah, anyway, so that's that. 3mm hook. I really enjoyed the making of it, not so much the yarn, but I wanted it to match her brother's, so that was something that I needed to do. So speaking of long-term finished, because I've been working on that one since March or May. I know she hadn't been born long. She was born the end of January, and I bought the yarn not too long after, because I knew blankets take me forever, because I just get bored and put them down and change to something else. I have a finished that is a finished from, I started it in January. And I'm not entirely sure how well this is going to work for showing you guys on the camera. I have got a better picture of it, obviously, on my Ravelry page, because it is big. But I bound off and finished the Christmas tree skirt. This is a pattern by Tiva Durham, and it's in a book called Handmade for the Holidays. I bought the book specifically for the pattern. There is an ebook available, but do not buy it. The ebook has incredibly tiny charts. It's a Kindle one, and yeah, no chance, unless there's a better way than on the Kindle app of actually, making things bigger. I don't have a Kindle, I just use the app on the computer and it didn't work. But anyway, it's finished. It is made up of 11 wedges, using short rows to form a circle, and there are lots of cables. It's worked pretty much entirely from a chart, so that works for me. I love charts, not everybody does. It was 2 strands of chunky, and this is Stylecraft Special Chunky. It's heavy as well. I mean, it's really, really heavy. 2 strands of Stylecraft Chunky held together in order to create the gauge that was needed, and 9mm needles. So it was big. It was a big project. I used 9.72 balls of the cream, and they're 100 grams, and I used 2.5 of the red. So yeah, it's a lot of yarn. It's a very heavy project, but it's going to look lovely sat underneath my Christmas tree, which I can't put up until at least the 1st of December, says Reese. So he's very much a spoil sport. This went through the wash, and I bought some colour catchers. The ripple blanket's also been through the washing machine and the tumble dryer. Both of those have. I bought some colour catchers because I thought, white and red, yeah, I'm definitely going to need them. And I was worried about the ruining the work on the ripple blanket as well, but neither of them bled, so I was incredibly happy about that, actually. Really, really happy. So yeah, I haven't got really a lot else to say about that. I've talked about it a bit. I'm looking forward to putting it under the Christmas tree. I think it's going to be one of these heirloom objects that's always under the tree, and gets washed when it comes back out in December, and I really, really like it. We didn't have anything before. We've just, left it under the tree. We don't have a real tree, we have a fake tree. Obviously putting it up on the 1st of December, your real tree would be a bit dead by the end of it, but I think it's going to be good. I really enjoyed doing it. So the next item I had was we've got so many of these. I'm at nearly half an hour already. I've still got some lovely things to show you as well, and a tiny bit of spinning, but not a lot. But anyway, so my next object is this, which is a handbrake cowl. Now, the yarn in this is so dark that you can't actually see, you struggle to see the pattern. Yeah, I mean, you have to look sort of up close to see the pattern. But it is sort of diagonal lines that go across. This was in, put it on. So that's probably, I hope that's not interfering with the microphone, but it's squash blossom fibres even, and it's a hand spun by a lady who sells her hand spun to the knitting shop in Gloucester that I go to. And I really like it. The colourway was called Petrol. It's a mix of luxury fibres, definitely including some merino and some alpaca, as well as nylon, stellina, which probably actually is nylon. But yeah, I really like it. I love knitting with hand spun, even if it's not my own. And this was, really nice to work with. It washed and softened and blocked really well. It was an incredibly quick knit. I would definitely knit it again. It was only £1. I think £1.20 I paid, because you've got to pay VAT, but that's, standard, that's fine. And doesn't bother me. I'd rather me pay the VAT than have the designer have to pick it up, especially when it's only £1. And all profits from this one go to cancer research, which is brilliant, a very sort of worthy cause. So I did this for the Two Tangled Skeins knit along. Lynn from there was having a birthday, and she was doing a knit along. I didn't win a prize, but I got a lovely cowl out of it that I wouldn't necessarily have made had I not seen the podcast, seen the Two Tangled Skeins podcast. I wouldn't necessarily have thought to have done a handbrake. And then when I had this yarn, I thought, what can I make with it? And it was perfect. I only had about 4 yards left, very small amount. So I really like that. And then finally, you will be glad to know, my last finished object is a pair of socks. And this is the Celtic Myths socks that I was working on last week. So I had one finished one that I showed you, but I just wanted to show you, indeed, made a pair. So hold it like that, the cable is possibly a little bit better shown. So the cable pattern is from the Celtic Myths shawl by Asita Krebs, and the yarn is Riseby Flock Lincolnshire Longwool. So I started, the pattern is a free pattern. I did start at 10 stitches for the toes and increased up to 28, which is the width of the chart. And then I worked the chart 3 full times. I think I did 3 full times, 3.5 before I did the heel. And then I finished it off and did, I think, 2 repeats afterwards. It's all detailed on my Ravelry project page. Then I switched into a 2x2 rib for the cuff. After I'd finished the heel and worked about 1 inch, I finished off the chart. I finished off the chart that I was on, and then I went into a 2x2 rib for the back of the legs, just to sort of give an extra bit of stretch that cable maybe doesn't have. My Reese has tried these on and they fit him really well, so I'm hoping that they will fit Corey, but it's a little bit hard to see because he's in Canada. So yeah, I just wanted to show you both of those. I was intending to start a pair for Reese, but I haven't yet. I must get on and start that at some point this week. So yeah, that's it finally for Faux Frenzy. My spinning, I had a bit of a bad week with, well, a bit of a bad time with the spinning. I was spinning the, no, it's gone. I had a little ball of what I was spinning. Because I did have a go at the fleece that I bought from the Black-Nosed Valet, but I wasn't enjoying it at all. I don't think I like spinning with fleece that hasn't been prepared. I still have the majority of it left, probably about 80 grams. But I will wait until I even know somebody with a drum carder or have a drum carder of my own or something and try and card it into a bat and spin it from a bat. Prepared, yes. Spinning from the fleece, no, not for me. So instead I went upstairs and I dug out some fibre that I've had for a while. So this is what I'm currently working on. It's Manx Loathern. I've probably butchered the pronunciation of that. But they're the sheep with the really cool horns. So I've only just started. Haven't got a lot on the bobbin. Haven't been doing a lot lately on this because I've been knitting. But yeah, I'm going to be enjoying that. So that's a very, very quick in a spin. And this actually probably isn't going to be as long as I thought it was going to be. I thought with 5 finished objects and, 3 works in progress, it would be big. But I apologise. Maybe I'm just rushing through things, or maybe I'm talking too fast. I am sorry. Mina from the Knitting Expat said she listens to some of the podcasts on 1.5 times speed, which helps you to get through them. I doubt anybody would be doing that for me because I talk so fast, probably. Anyway, so, shiny. I went to Bath the other week. I went to the not new. They're going to celebrate their year birthday. So it's not new, but new to me because I've never been before. The yarn shop there, which is called A Yarn Story in Bath, and we had a very nice time. We offered cups of tea. We were really well looked after. So I managed to get my hands on, while I was there, some hedgehog fibres. I've not knitted with hedgehog fibres before. This is incredibly new to me, and I loved, I don't know if you can see, the tiny little speckles of blue. I'll try and find a bit where it's got a tiny bit more. But they are literally just that. They are literally speckles of blue and the speckles of dark grey within the yarn, and I really, really like that. So this is hedgehog fibres sock yarn. It is in 100 grams to 350 metres, 90% superwash merino, 10% nylon, hand dyed using wash fast and light fast dyes. So this is going to be only 10% nylon, not going on my feet. The colourway is loopy, which is an exclusive. And I thought I heard her say it was an exclusive, and I did double check, and it is exclusive to A Yarn Story, so that's quite nice to know. So it's going to be a hat, because I'm not normally a grey person, but I quite like the idea of this sort of for me as a hat. While I was there, she had a big bundle of spinning fibre, so I also purchased this, which is porpoise fur fibre, and I've never ever spun with porpoise fur fibre before. It's not actually made of porpoises, it's Corriedale. In case anybody is just doesn't quite get, porpoise fur is the brand. So yeah, it's got sort of bits of orange and bits of purple and bits of cream. It's called Golden Mean, but we all reckoned that it looked a little bit like a Cadbury's cream egg. Tiny bit of brown for the chocolate, purple for the Cadbury wrapper. But yeah, I really like that. So it's 4 ounces, which is an unusual... I mean, we tend to do gram put-ups here, so I'm not sure whether they are a British company or not. Porpoisefur.com, but that doesn't necessarily mean American versus British. But yeah, 4 ounces, 113 grams. So a lot of spinning fibre in the States comes in that quantities, doesn't it? Because you'll often hear people going, oh yeah, no, I bought 8 ounces of fibre at the Fibre Festival, and you're like, hang on, how much is that? 200 odd grams, 226 grams. To be precise. But yeah, I really like that. So after we went and saw Carmen in a yarn story, we went for food, which was really nice, and then we went to the bead shop, which was lovely, but I didn't buy anything. A sort of indecision paralysis, I think, a bit. And then we went to wool, which is one of my favourite ones. I saw the lady from Little Bobbins in there, Danny from Little Bobbins in there, but I didn't know whether it was her or not, and I didn't want to be a weird stalker, so I didn't say hello, but never mind. But I did manage to buy these two, which is the new yarn from Rachel Coopy, Socks, yeah, from Coop Knits. So I was really, really happy with that. The colourway is 104 Sphene. And they're only in 50 gram put-ups, which is fine, which is more than enough, because she wants to encourage you to do sort of colour work with them, which is great. But I bought 2, which is enough for a shawl that I've got in my queue, and I'm really sort of loving the yellows at the moment. I'm not entirely sure they go with my skin colour, but hey ho, I like it, so we'll have it. So I was really excited about those. These ones are 75 super fine wash merino wool, 25% nylon. So yeah, brilliant for socks, but I'm not going to use them for socks. I'm going to use them for a shawl instead. So I was very, very happy about that. Now my not so happy thing. I mean, I am happy with it. I put in a giant order from Deramores. My sister wanted some wool for Christmas. She knits for charities and crochets, and she mainly likes acrylic. Fine, don't get me wrong. You know, brilliant, has its place. I would much rather have a lovely merino, but I get where she's coming from. So, you know, so I order her a big box of acrylics. And sort of do it on my own rather than doing it through the things, because I looked at the kits, but this was still cheaper. So I order her that. That all comes, that's fine. I think I want some yarn to do a barbel hat. You've probably seen this by now. Again, I'm speeding up, Hannah. The blah, 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 blah. It's possibly all my vlog will sound like. But yeah, so I want to do the barbel hat. You've probably seen it by now. I can't remember who the designer is, but it's released for Shetland Wool Week, and it's a hat with sort of sheep around the rim, and then sort of grass, sheep, sky, bobble, giant bobble. It's fine, that's great, but it's in an Aran weight. An Aran isn't a weight I have a huge amount of in my stash. Certainly not in 4 separate colours. So while I'm there, they have Lopi reduced down. The Let Lopi, which is the light Lopi, which is an Aran, reduced down to £2 a ball. It's brilliant. I say I put it all in. So this was on the 30th of October that I ordered this yarn. My delivery got delivered this week. So that's, you know, Wool Warehouse always, Deramores even, not Wool Warehouse, sorry. I'm sure it's Deramores. Yeah, Deramores. Deramores always provide themselves on a fast service. So this was like nearly a week and a half, nearly 2 weeks for it to get to me. Which isn't bad, but I've been itching to cast this on. So I go through, I'm checking the list. Yeah. Beths. All present and accounted for. Lopi. The, this one, dark grey heather. Yep, check. Sheep. Sheep faces, I think. Yeah, sheep faces. Which I might actually duplicate stitch on, given that some people have had problems with the floats, or whether I'll actually break the floats and then weave in all of those ends. I don't know. We'll maybe do tiny intarsia. No, I can't because I'm doing it in the round. But yeah, anyway, sheep faces. Glacier blue, which pretty much perfectly matches my wall. Tiny bit off. But yeah, glacier blue for the sky. Check. Straw for the sheep. Brilliant. Yep. Check. Celery green heather for the grass. That's weird. I haven't seen that one. No, not in the box, not in the box, not in the box. And somebody, whoever filled the order, has gone through and has gone and checked it all off, and then they obviously have got to the shelf where the green should be, and there hasn't been any. So they've just crossed it off and written naught on it, and then they sent it out. It's obviously not been checked. They said they've been having problems with orders lately, so maybe that's why. I did ring, and the lady said that she'll put it back on their restock list, and that as soon as they have it, they will send it to me, and, you know, sort of all of that. But I really wanted to start this hat, and I can't now because I haven't got the green, which is the starting colour. If it had been like the blue, I could have at least got up through to the, sort of to the sheep, to the sky, and stopped. But I'm sure it will be back in stock very, very shortly, and I can continue on. But it's just, it's the second sort of a bad run-in I've had with them in the last couple of months. I ordered something from them, a pair of needles, 2 pairs of needles, and they just couldn't stock them, but they kept me hanging on for a month before they said, oh yeah, no, we'll give you your money back. So, I mean, you know, they gave me my money back, I can't complain. This woman has said, I'm sorry, and I'll put it on the repicking list, so it should be here at some point. But you would have thought that there would have been some sort of quality control of, like, even sort of like a highlighter to have sort of highlighted across on this list that they didn't have this item. And then, you know, either emailed me or phoned me or said, well, what do you want to do, you know? Do you want to wait, or do you want, you know? Because I would have replaced it for another green if they didn't have that green, or whether it's just that was in their warehouse and there was another order in, or I don't know. So yeah, but I'm really looking forward to starting that when I get the green. So yeah, lots of hats in my future, evidently. The hedgehog sock is going to be a hat, and the Let Loopy is going to be a hat. So yeah, I think I've blabbered on now for as long as I should do. Life's still a bit, my medicine's still, it's right now, I think it's right, but I had a really busy weekend last weekend, and then I've had a really busy week this week in work. There's been a lot of stuff on, as well as, oh, just as I found it, I've just moved something, and there it is. That was what I had from the black-nosed valet before I just pulled it off the wheel in disgust. So yeah, so what I have been doing in work is sort of a lot to do with the student conference that we've been having to show students what a great place my job is to work, which is great. But I've also been up on my flexi time, so you can only take 2 days worth of time over. So your day is 7 hours 24. So if you work 8 hours, you get an extra sort of 34 minutes. So it's brilliant. You can keep them and count them all up, and then take a day off, or take half a day off, or do a 6-hour day. Your time is your own, as long as you average out so many over a week. So we've been working and trying to save up our flexi for Christmas, because we have a big holiday to Canada in February that we'd like to save all of our annual leave for. Most of our annual leave for, I should say. But yeah, but you're only allowed to carry over a maximum of 2 days. So we were both very, very close to that limit. You know, there are exceptional circumstances where you can carry it over, but they said not this time, it's too early, so that's fine. But trying to get everything done and around that, it's been a bit sort of mental. We had somebody to stay early half of the week, which was lovely, but also draining, and I'd been out both days the weekend before to Bath for the day, and that was an entire day. I met Zoe about 9:15 at Mega Services, and I didn't get back in till about 9:30, 9:45. At the earliest, it might even have been like 10:30. And then came in, had a cup of tea, went to bed. First thing in the morning, I was out. I was at my friend Jamie's house by about 8:15 to go paintballing, which was different. It's not something I've ever done before. It's not something I don't think it's something I would ever rush to go back to. If I was invited, then maybe, but you know, it wouldn't be my choice. I enjoyed the sort of the hiding-y aspect. I didn't enjoy the shooting at or being shot at. the bloke told me off twice, once for calling them paintballs, because you go paintballing. But he said, oh, they're not paint anymore. They're, what's it, food colouring, water, and I want to say, I keep saying glycerin, but it's probably not glycerin. Gelatin, maybe. Gelatin for the shells. Okay, right, yep, fine. And then I got told off for calling them a gun. I wasn't talking to this bloke at the time. I was talking to my friend, and I was saying that walking through the countryside, walking through the woods with an armed gun is a completely weird association for me. I'm a countryside girl. I never went shooting. I never, I didn't go bush beating or anything like that for pheasants because my dad never shot. My cousins did, and all of that sort of stuff. But still, it's that sort of that ingrained countryside-y knowledge of walking through with your gun is never loaded. You always have your gun, sort of your shotgun broken and over your arm. And it was a weird sort of a mental concept to get round to start off with. But he goes to me, oh, they're not guns, they're sighters or something like that. And I was like, oh, really? Okay, right, fine. But, it was all right. I managed to stay in for 2 games completely without getting shot at all. And then I got shot a couple of times, sort of in the arm, and then, like, either side of my thighs. But I didn't get really badly shot. I didn't go in for the free-for-all, though. They had... if anybody's got any paintballs left at the end, we'll go in for this free-for-all, and you can shoot at somebody as many times as you like, and when you're shot, you don't necessarily have to go out, because that was the rules in the other one. Shot, hand up, walk out. Fine. But this one, no, you can carry on as long as you like until you run out of ammo or you give up, and then you put your hand up and go out. So, yeah, fine, okay, right, yeah, no. We came back after the last, the last game where everybody was in, and I was just like, who wants my paintballs? Have all of my paintballs. I don't want to go back in. I'm done. I was happy to be done. But yeah, again, my friend had a good time, and that's what's important. So, anyway, I am going to head off now, and I apologise for this being a bit of a rushed episode and a bit of a weird episode. You can tell now the light's going because the lamp I've got next to me has become really bright and has made stuff sort of pink, which now as I've spoken has just sort of kicked in. So I'm going to go and I'm going to get some knitting done, maybe watch a couple of films this afternoon, try and catch up on a bit of telly. But yeah, I hope you all have a lovely crafting fortnight, making everything that you would like to do. Please come and friend me on Ravelry or Instagram. I love seeing what people are up to. I follow most people back. Unless you're like one of those juice seller things, juice plus body wrap, shrink wraps, all of that sort of stuff, I tend not to follow you back. But if you post knitting stuff and that stuff, then I will probably follow you and just skip past all of the multi-level marketing selling stuff. So yeah, thank you ever so much for listening to me blather on, and I hope the microphone has worked, and I hope that I've not been talking too fast. You might have to slow me down to half speed this time round. Okay, thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll see you in a fortnight. Goodbye.